Well, I guess it might help if I have the screen on, huh?
A few hours and I'd be like, the next morning I'd be like feeling it blister.
Yeah.
It wouldn't even take long.
Also, another thing that makes me nervous is, so I've been home all week with my puppy, trying to train her, and I have a camera on her, so I can see what she's doing. And I just logged in probably about 5:15 to check on her, and she was up on the sofa, which I have no idea how she got onto the sofa, because as far as I know, she can't jump that high. And then two, she jumped down, and then all I can hear is like tearing noise, like tearing apart paper or something, and then my cam froze, and now it's offline. They do. Yeah, I can listen to it, and I can talk to her.
They like respond to it.
Not really. No, they I think they're immune to it. They know it's not me. They're like, man, she's not really here. I'm not gonna do anything. So I get to see what I get to go home to. Hopefully, it was not something what I think. Maybe it was a toy that made that sound. I don't know. I really doubt it. I'm like, what did she find? What did she find? What could she possibly have gotten to? Now that I know you could jump, I'm gonna have to really rearrange everything, see if I can get her to be trained. Yeah. So, yay! Alright, showing my desktop. So we're starting InDesign. InDesign, I think 2017 is what's loaded on here. InDesign has really gotten much better since the beginning of time when, I don't know if anyone was in yearbook in high school or anything, used to do that, and it was like the simplest program ever. When I was in yearbook, we actually had to draw the squares where the pictures were and send in to Jostens the actual photograph and with cropping marks, and then send it to Jostens, and then they would place it on because we had no ability to scan in the image or have digital images. It was crazy. Now it's so much easier. Honestly, InDesign is not one of my favorite things to use, just because I don't use it all the time. So it makes me, I feel clunky in it compared to other programs which I've used all the time. But if you're doing anything with text, like a lot of text, a brochure or newspaper or an advertisement or something that has lots of text, InDesign is what's going to be your main go-to, because the text formatting in InDesign is so much better. They'll like wrap around the image, or you can link it so it goes to the next page. It's really a lot simpler than trying to use like Photoshop or Illustrator for a lot of text. So I'm going to go over a few things with InDesign. If you see the module, it kind of talks about the steps, and then I did add the templates down here, but you don't have to use those templates. It says go to Printing Center USA. If you go there, all I did up here was search in like envelope templates.
Are we actually making them?
Yes, you're making them.
We're printing them up?
Well, no, unless you print them right. You're designing them, I guess. So, like for example, I just downloaded this first envelope. That's the template. But if you want to look through here and see if there's any other template that you would like to download, I am cool with that. Okay, so if you want a different setup or design, that goes with all of them, except for I think the letterhead. There's only one because it's just a piece of paper.
Is this
Okay.
the thing we're using the logos for?
Yes, yes, yes. So you'll be using your logo from your Illustrator design. Now, some people will want to either use that logo or create a whole new logo. It does not matter to me what you do, because we have developed our skills, so maybe you want to go back and edit that logo. So that's where we're talking about the templates. I have like 7,000 tabs open. So InDesign, like I always said, I think I've showed you this for each one. Adobe has really good tutorials. So if you're really struggling, the nice thing about it is it gives you the source files. So if you click here, you can get the files and then work through those steps, and their videos are short. So if you're trying to do a crash course or you don't understand something, I highly recommend going to your Adobe, clicking on tutorials, and then you're going to see a bunch of different tutorials. Okay? in basics. You know it's a tutorial when it says like, where's my... No, I'm like, where did it go? Yeah, so if it says like 15 minutes or 21 minutes, that's something you know that is going to be a tutorial, like step by step. Okay? If it says 5 minutes, it's just going to be a watch. You're going to watch the video. So that's kind of, you can kind of tell the difference between the two. So it's always a good website to go to for extra tutorials. Right, I think I just closed out the other one. Can I do undo? No. Alright, so I'm going to play this short intro video. Hopefully it will give you a grasp of what InDesign is in 5 minutes. Okay, so I don't have to demo it for like ever because I'm ADD and I'll be going all over the place.
Let's take a tour of Adobe InDesign so you can become more familiar with the workspace and the tools available. With the latest version of InDesign CC Open, you can open your own document or this document from the downloadable practice files for this tutorial. So you can see everything on this page. Choose View, Fit Page, and Window. With a file open in InDesign, you'll see the workspace. The workspace is made up of an open document in the document window, the menus at the top of the application bar below the menus, the control panel below that, the tools panel on the left, and finally, docs panels on the right. As you explore InDesign, you'll find that you can arrange the workspace to have things you use all the time easily accessible, or maybe to show more of the document you're working on and less of the tools and panels. In the Tools panel on the left, you'll see all the tools you can use to create and edit content in your documents. Some of the tools have a little arrow in the corner, which means there are more tools you can choose from. For example, you can hold down on the rectangle tool to see a menu of tools. Then click to select the ellipse tool. Come back up to the selection tool and click to select it. The selection tool is a tool you use a lot to do things like select and move content. Come out into the document and click to select this image. If you look in the control panel above the document, the control panel shows options for the content you select, and the options change depending on what's selected. On the right, you'll see a series of collapsed panels in the dock. Panels are where you can work with pages, apply formatting like colors, and a whole lot more. Click the Pages icon or the text to open the Pages panel. The Pages panel is grouped with a few other panels that open as well. You can see their tabs here. If you click another panel, like Color, you'll collapse the previous group and open the new one. To collapse the color group, click the Color panel tab. If you find you need more space in the document window to work on your document, you can also drag the left edge of the dock to the right to collapse the panels further and give you more space. You can also click the arrows at the top of the dock panels to expand the panels or collapse them again.
Wow.
These dock panels and others are found in the window menu at the top of the screen. Any panel that has a check mark is open and currently showing. This is also where you'll find the tools and control panels as well. Let's open another panel. With the window menu showing, click Text Wrap to open the Text Wrap panel. This panel is called free floating because it's not docked with the other panels on the right. You can move panels by dragging the title bar at the top or the panel tab. You can also dock one or more of the panels on the left or right side of the workspace. Drag this Text Wrap panel by the tab to the right, and when a blue highlight appears in the Pages panel group here, release the mouse. The Text Wrap panel is added to the group. Of course, as you start opening and closing and rearranging your panels, you may find you want to reset everything in order to reorganize and clean up the workspace. To do this, you can reset the workspace. Click Essentials in the application bar above the document and choose Reset Essentials to put all the panels back to their default locations. In this menu, if you see something else chosen, choose Essentials first and then choose Reset Essentials. After you reset this workspace, you may see that the CC Libraries panel is showing. You can click the CC Libraries panel tab to collapse it. Now that you're more familiar with the InDesign workspace, as you work more in InDesign, you can start to organize panels in a way that makes sense to you and your working style. You can close this practice file without saving by choosing File, Close.
Wow, right? Everyone is totally inspired. Very same as Illustrator and Photoshop. Maybe tools. The tools look the same, so that always helps you when you're looking at stuff. There's going to be new tool options also. A lot of the tools in InDesign are going to be dealing with text majority of the time. So if you're hovering over them, they will also kind of tell you what they are. And I'm going to go over today, because I think everyone understands text, right? The type tool.
Would it have been easier to use typography in here?
Not necessarily. I think that the font is easier to use, type is easier to use in the Illustrator than it is in here. Just because this one's more formal, and we were able to do informal stuff in Illustrator and like move the text and warp it. Yeah. So text, I think, as you guys will understand, obviously just text box and type. With the text with your business collection, just make sure it's the same throughout. Okay. So if the name of your business is in one type of font, make sure it's the same on every single page. Okay. That goes with color. Okay. So you have to think about your color. It needs to be the color on every single page. Okay. You can create your own theme. So up here, you can see it kind of comes up with some basic colors up here. But again, your color choices are a gazillion. Okay. If you go to Window, Color, and there's Adobe Color Themes, it should pop up. There is different themes. You can create your own color theme, explore, and then they also have color schemes that are already out there and supposedly appropriate color themes to match. For your business card, I recommend that you look up different business cards. Okay? It needs to have your name on it. Okay? It should have your name on it and what you do. And again, it could be all made up. Okay? Whatever business it is, your name, CEO, manager, cashier, I don't care what you are. Right? That should be the main thing. Then the information below it, you know, the typical stuff. If you have a storefront, if it's a store actually, you should have an address to that store. Right? If it's a website, then you just put a website, right? It just kind of depending on what kind of information you need for your business card. I'm going to show some examples of business cards. Where are you at? Why do I do this to myself? I'm like, I swear I just created a folder on here that says, let's see, review, sort by, date modified.
Well, the other day I got a business card from somebody that's a cleaning company,
Uh-huh.
and it said only 10 bills. So the name didn't say anything, the law wasn't like the letters, and it didn't say, it just had the name of the person, the phone, and the address of it. Like if I see it afterwards,
It doesn't have much about the business, it just shows the person, phone number, and like the message.
yeah, but in a huge business company, a cleaning company,
Where's this at? I don't know where I saved it. I thought I saved it on the desktop. I guess I saved it in La La Land. So I have a few examples here. This is for icons. Instead of writing out phone, okay, we use icon symbols for everything. I found this in Google Images, and I'm going to show you how you can use these without having to break them all up in Photoshop. That's one nice thing about about InDesign. You can use a portion of the picture, like you say, you just want the little house, right? Okay. Now the only thing with this one is you may have to open it in Photoshop if you don't want the white box. Okay. Say if you just want the black outline of the house, right? Remember, if you go into Photoshop and hit the magic eraser, right, and you'll erase that white and turn it into a PNG or a GIF. Okay. Or when you go to search, type in I typed in business icons PNG, so it would already be a transparent background. Okay.
So it's having on Google where you can look for transparent pictures.
Sweet. Learn something new every day. And so that's an option. And I don't know how to close out of this. Okay. And then we're going to be looking at letterheads, and then business cards. Now this is a collection, all right? So again, they all look the same. They all look the same. Same thing. Yes. Yeah. So again, if you're struggling with whatever you're trying to come up with your collection, use Google Images. Okay? Look up and see what other people do for their collection. You can type it in. What? No, you can do whatever you want. These are just different examples of different companies that I could find that did actually a collection together. Sometimes it's easy to find examples of a business card and examples of a letterhead, examples of a envelope, but it's hard to find them all together sometimes as a collection. So I have a few examples here. This one's also envelope, letterhead, and business card. So again, if you're struggling with your business card, look up examples. It's the best way to go for it. Usually they're two, front and back. That's typical now. It used to be just front-sided, but as the lovely technology has improved, we're going to two-sided. So when you're looking at InDesign, right now I only have one-sided. So I need to add another side. The easiest way to do this is kind of up here. It's called Pages. So he kind of talked about it a little bit in the intro video. It looks like Pages. Okay, it looks like a book, Pages. And you have your master page. That would be something, if I want to put on there, that needed to be on every single page, right? Your master page is something where you can set that up. So like in Word, when you do a header, right, and then you keep going on the next page, it would apply it to every single page. Same thing with your master pages, if you can think about it that way. So I'm going to click on my page 1 and then say create new page, and now you can see that I have 2 pages. They look the same right now because they're both blank. So you can have one that's front and one that's back, just depending on the styling of what you're going to be working on. But majority of the time, your logo is on one side and the other information's on the other side. Now for printing and saving. So if you go to Layers, which you should be familiar with Layers, this one is actually locked, so you can turn off those guides before you save it, okay? Because you're going to turn in 2 files, all right? 2 files, an InDesign file and a PDF file, okay, for each one of these. Okay, it might be challenging for some people. I put it in the rubric this time, so it has to get in there. So you'd say File, Save, just regular save, and then you would say File, Export. I haven't done this in a while. Just regular PDF. Print PDF, save, all pages. There's a non-printing objects, I think that's one. Okay, export to make it work. Now, it should be on my desktop. Okay, lots of it. So right now I should have 2 pages which are both white. Okay, should have put maybe something on there so you could tell that I actually have 2 pages here. Let's zoom out. Page 2, page 1. Yeah, okay. So you're exporting it out as PDF. Okay. Main reason that you're doing that is because if you have a different font, like you downloaded from the font or a free font from somewhere, and I open up an InDesign, I'm not going to see that font. It's going to go like to a basic font, and it's going to highlight in red. So sometimes your font is some of the main designs in your business card, okay? Especially if you especially font for the title of your business. So that's why I PDF it out so I can go back and forth and see if you have a font that I don't have. I can actually update that and look at the correct version. So the business card, anyone have a question on the business card? Everyone have kind of an idea what a business card looks like? Usually people don't struggle with a business card because it's something familiar. People struggle with the letterhead and envelope. Because one, students haven't used a letter. They don't write letters anymore. So I have to explain how an envelope works, sadly. All right, so in the examples, in the templates again, I have the envelope. Again, there's two layers automatically with the download. The only one that didn't come with the 2 layers, for some reason, is my letterhead, and I just created a second layer. Again, I don't think it really matters. You can just click on the guidelines and hit delete also before you save. So my envelope is here. It's like a standard business envelope, if you can think of the long, skinny ones. Now, the struggle is, you guys don't know where to put a stamp. All right? So the stamp goes over here in the right-hand corner, right? So a graphic shouldn't be placed there because it's going to be blocked by a stamp. Okay? It could be a color design as long as like an image isn't right there getting cut off. Okay? Your return address should be over here in your left corner, right? So the places you really have to design is the top, the side over here, and the bottom. Okay? If you look at different examples online, you're going to see the majority of them that way. So again, this one's real simple. This is their envelope down here. The only thing about the envelope, it probably needs a return address. Okay? So it's very simple. It kind of continues their simple theme throughout. Their main part of the design is their text, is their font. I don't know if you guys can see it. They actually have a hammer up here with their logo. So that's what they're playing off of. So their font is what is their logo. But again, the envelope is going to be pretty simple. I'm trying to think if I see the other ones. Very similar here. They put their logo up here. They do need an address because I don't know if it will send out anymore without an address. Some people put the return address down here in the design, like at the bottom. Again, just know that you have to have a stamp, and in the middle goes an address to whoever you're sending it to. So make sure that those 2 areas are empty, so when you technically needed to use it, you could fill it in.
I mean, I guess where you put the address, like lines, but like.
Yeah, if you wanted to. Most people use labels anymore, so you can just put a box, okay, if it helps you with your visual. Pop open InDesign again. Okay, again, you kind of can see your markings. So, but the envelope is not as the bleed, you're going to see the bleed, is not really that big of a deal. The business card was something that gets cut, right? Sometimes if you put your design all the way to the edges, it'll get cut off. So if you notice on the business card one, you're going to see your trim, the safe area, and the bleed. So what you would need to look at is, I would go up to this pink line with your design. The color can bleed all the way through, but just make sure your content is inside the red line. So you get a border from the pink to the blue here, like a colored border, but just know that that could be something you could cut off. So if texture or something is in there, that's where we have issues when it comes to the cutting part, because you never know if you're cutting them, you can make sure you can cut them out right. But again, most of the time it's professional. And you send it off and you come back and you're like, you can't even see my email address or something. So that's what those markings on the template is itself. So we talked about the envelope and the letterhead. Oh, not the letterhead. Letterhead. Okay, now again, you do not have to type anything. You do not have to create a letter. You're just creating the template for the business letterhead. Right, ready to go. If you had to bill someone or send a template or send something out, you would have your letterhead ready. Okay, so you do not have to write a letter. You do not have to write a letter. That's the most common question I get. So when you're looking at your letterhead, again, you should have a header kind of style and a footer closing, right? Just so it kind of keeps your information in. Sometimes you could also do the sides too, just depending on your styling of your logo. But again, usually the top you have your logo, right? And then the bottom part, you see a lot of times one line with all the information, like name, address. I know, I was like, it's like yawning almost. Again, there's a million resources out there for letterhead examples. If you would like to do a watermark, that's something you could do where you just basically take your logo and then your transparency way down. If it's simple enough, that works. If it's too detailed and it has text in it, then that's probably not going to work, okay, because it would be text on text. Okay. Looking at your letterhead examples. Again, very simple layout. You know, see how they have a top and a bottom? All right, most of the letterheads will kind of have that framing. Okay, so again, you're playing around with it so it kind of can frame your letter. Okay, I know the school one for mine is like, has Stevens High School at the top with the ugly falcon logo. I'm not sure who designed that or logo. I feel bad because it kind of looks like a pigeon, not really a falcon, but whatever. And then it has the bottom. It has the information like the Stevens High School, 600 North Ellison, San Antonio, Texas, 78251, and it's all in one line. So it kind of frames that out. Okay, so you don't have to stack it like you would on an envelope over in the left-hand corner. Again, there's so many different ways you can do your letterhead. I would look through examples and see what people have come up with, and then something's going to inspire you. Okay, it's a very basic one. It's a little rough. Okay, but again, you got to get ideas of what people have done. These are all shapes. You know how to do shapes. You know how to use a pen tool, hopefully. All right. So there are doable things that you can do. If you're struggling, you know, you can always look at an Illustrator and design an Illustrator and bring your Illustrator design into InDesign. But again, try to use InDesign first and then go from there. So a few things with InDesign that I struggle with is images. Okay, there's two ways to do your images. One, you can create a box with the it's called frame tool. So if I want a frame tool, I can come in here, place a box in here, this exact size that I want my image, and then I could place my image in there. So I'd go in here to File, Place, pick a picture, and say Open. Now, that picture is so big that I'm only seeing like her eye, right? So I would have to go in and click on my image, inside my image, and hopefully see my boundary boxes, but mine's so big I don't even see the boundary boxes to shrink it down. So I'm going to show you the easiest way I think is bringing a picture. I don't use the framing tool, okay? I use very simple, what we always kind of use is File, Place, choose a picture, say Open, and you can just drag it the size that you want it, okay? I think that's a lot easier than try to scale down an image to what I need it to be, okay? You can also insert multiple pictures at the same time. So I'm going to come here, File, Place. I could highlight a couple pictures, say Open. You're going to see a number at the top here. I know you can't see it very well. It says 2, so I know that I have 2 pictures that I need to place. And then I can come in here and place those images where I want them. As you can see, this one, I have my frame is a lot bigger. This is why I love Illustrator. Oh, there it is. So you can still move within inside a frame your image. So if I wanted to come in here and crop this, I could just make it bigger and then move that frame. Now, to do that, if you hover over it and click on it, you're working with the frame. Okay, if you go in the middle, there used to be a circle here. Now I don't know why there's not a circle.
I hit that so many times trying to select a small, like either an image or
yeah.
a shape in my other stuff.
Yeah. So again, if you get the hands, that means you can adjust. You can see that my border, again, it's like a light blue border. You can kind of see the image, how big it is. So again, you can use it as a cropping mechanism. This is what you could use if you were trying to do the icons, right? If you want to just show if you have a set of icons, like we did, show that image, right? And then I just want the phone on it, okay? Instead of having to go in and Photoshop, crop it down, whatever, I can crop it with inside one of the framing options in InDesign. You can also create your own frame. It's going to be an awesome frame. All right, I use the pen tool. Yes. So I have it selected. No matter if you have something selected, it's going to place it there. So So if you have a text box selected for some reason accidentally, and you go to File, Place, it's going to place it over your text. Okay, so just be aware of what you have selected before you go to File, Place. So I have my lovely shape selected. I'm going to go to File, Place, pick my image, say Open, and then it places that image within that shape. Okay. Now this could work really well if you have like a texture. Say you want to do like a cool texture of something on that you have an image of. Say you have grass or something like that. And then you want to put that inside a shape that you created at the bottom of your image to kind of get that feeling. You could draw the little, maybe a swish or something like that at the bottom, look like a hilly. I don't know. I'm going over here. And then place that texture on top of that so it looks like grass, right? Instead of having to sit there and maybe create it. Also, it works well with if you want to do like something different, like with circles, right? You can come in here and create your shapes. So maybe not a triangle. So maybe I come in here and do 3 different sizes of circles. So I'm going to come in here. Come on, you can do it. Oh my goodness. Move. Okay, I'm just going to do 2 for kicks and giggles. Alright, so there's 2 ways I can do this. I can go to, I have 2 there. Come on. There we go. You know, select one and place it. Or I can not select anything on my page and go to File, Place. I'm going to select 3 items, Open. Now if I hover over this, they said if I click on it, it should work. It did work, but you can't tell because it's so big. So I'd have to go in there and definitely change my settings. But then you can kind of do something cool with the circle framed out, so you don't have square images sitting on your page. Because sometimes if you have a color background and then you have a square image sitting on in the middle of it, it doesn't look right. I can change with the night computer, I believe. Oh, now I ruined it forever. Okay, so you can kind of see me moving that image to the correct size that I need. Oh, that's really squishy. Don't judge my squished image on there. I need some work on it. But again, that's kind of a cool aspect of InDesign, that you can use shapes, a pen tool, to create a unique shape to add an image or texture or color that you have from a different thing, so it can be the same all the way through. Something Photoshop does not have. Okay, you would have to crop it down into a circle in order for that to work, or select a circle inside of Illustrator and erase the edges, kind of a thing. So this does it for you in InDesign. I know I'm going too fast, so now I'm trying to think of what. This is those business card icons, I think. Again, I guess there's somewhere you can do transparent. Oh, transparent. Awesome. And so there's different styles. Now, for your icons here, please try to use, like, they come in packages. So, like, there's this one, right? And there's something like this. So I wouldn't use one from this one and one from another, just so it kind of is consistent. So like the circles, if I'm going to do a circle phone, I'm going to also do a circle with the envelope, you know, like the email kind of signal. I would do a circle with a house. I don't know what the house one is. House phone, address. So just be consistent with icons. They should look similar. They should be from the same kind of package. Don't try to venture off from selecting different icons for your business card or collection. I know there's going to be 1,000 questions I always get on here. Okay, so information should include logo, company name, phone number, mailing address, or an email. If you have a website, put it on there. Business cards need to have your name on it. Your envelope and letterhead. It says you need a signature line, but I'm talking about I just want a header and footer. Okay, something that opens it and closes it. So if you have your logo on top and then you have your address on the bottom, that's kind of more what I'm looking for. Questions, comments, concerns on this? For right now, if you would like me to help you with your logo from Adobe Illustrator, if you want to pull it up, I'll come around and help you make some adjustments to that. Or again, you know, depending on if you want to open up InDesign because you're unsure about what it's going to look like, I am here to help. Let me close out this.